Good morning. I'm Victoria Savage, Nurse Savage on your side, your wisdom guided oracle, and we're having coffee in my beautiful sun mug. I can't remember what those are called. Sun Glory. That's it. Sun Glory mug. My grandmother used to love when I made those, and at one time she let me make one on a milk can that she wanted painted. And the wonderful thing is that it just enforced that she valued what it was that I brought, even though, of course, it was a young girl's interpretation and it wasn't by any means fine art. But somebody else believing in us oftentimes helps when we have some trouble believing in ourselves. So the opposite is also true. Particularly for many of us who have been the great chameleons. The great chameleon is less than a wonderful state to be in because it allows everyone else's opinions to influence us greatly in life. One of my earliest dreams was to sing very early on, very young. And I would never tell anyone because inherently I knew if they knew that, that was a source where they could hurt me deeply for whatever that was about. But fast forward, I've sung throughout the years. It's not exactly what I wanted as a young girl. Of course, we all wanted to be a rock star. My granddaughter said to me one time, I said, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" She goes, a veterinarian or a rock star. When times were, you could be anything, but I digress. Fast forward, I'd sung through the years and ended up marrying this man who kept, just as my biggest fan, and he kept saying, "But what's your voice? Where is your voice? You're really good at copying the, covering, but what is your voice?" And I remember going, I have no idea. I don't know how to find it. I'm not even sure what that is. And I got to say, I still don't know what that is in the singing realm. I'm really good at copying others, but the chameleon, it's funny, that's not at all what the reading started out to be about, the chameleon, but in essence, it really is about the chameleon, because the first card, Dragon Energy, has been in front of me for a little while now. I don't know that I believe in dragons. I think they're a fun mythical creature. Whether there's a spirit about them, that I believe. It is an energy. It's the same thing. It's like, I'm not a chameleon, but I've had the energy of a chameleon. So the dragon energy wants to come in now. And of course, dragons we know to be very powerful and very forthright and pointed. So good morning, everyone. Let me say good morning to you this morning. Oh, I can probably read you guys. No glasses. I lost my brand new glasses. I'm not buying another pair yet. Diane, good morning. Mindy, thank you all for joining me. Kayleen, Carmen, and Kimberly, thanks you guys for tuning in. So the first dragon card that came up was the Grouch. And I can believe many of us have been in this for a while now. And it is an interesting energy because the Grouch is about you enforcing your boundaries. And a lot of times people who have had less than real strong boundaries, in order to enforce them, have to get grouchy, have to be aggressive. I've talked about this before. Asserting yourself and being assertive isn't aggression, but initially it will likely come out as that. And asserting your boundaries right now is very important because we are all shifting, transforming, moving into these higher dimensions. And the last few weeks have been I feel like we've been in a jar being shaken up, and old stuff keeps coming up. We keep spiraling around to things. Another card actually visits that, but it brings to us new areas of growth within those old things that are keeping us back. So if you keep circling around to old patterns of beliefs and understandings and old energies, again, like I always say, what is here for me? How can I grow with this? What is this brings up in me for release, for growth? Then you're in your power and you're not under the circumstances anymore. So the Grouch, enforce your boundaries. And the supporting card, weirdly enough, Blossoming Abundance in reverse. And this is kind of a warning card, just saying sometimes when we assert our boundaries, there is a time of leanness in that. That person may walk away. It may shift our financial world, and that's, blossoming abundance. Abundance is more than just money, but you can expect that and know that it will resolve. Anytime we do a big shift, even little shifts, we lose some stuff. It's like you're in this mold right now, and all of a sudden you go, no, this just doesn't fit me anymore, and you step out of it and you get into the next mold for what your learning path is. But that mold doesn't fit the same, and when you step into it, little pieces fall off. So know that now in this time of transition for you, in asserting your boundary, your sovereignty, dragons are very sovereign. It's like, they're so powerful and so fierce at times. They don't fear anything. It's like, this is what it is. If you don't like it, oh well. I don't recommend you have to get like that, because really, really, really right now in the world, what we want to assert is more of our loving light. I chose this beautiful filter because it was very bright and energetic. And energetic is not how I've been feeling for the last couple days. Had some stuff going on, still going on, but I've also had the opportunity to really catch up on rest that was missing for about 4 days. So I've been sleeping yesterday and last night and this morning, just getting caught up. But so I chose this to kind of bring me back to who I am in all of that. And I am a bright light, and so are you. And sometimes we need those visuals to remind us, and we need that help to our energy. So assert your boundaries and know that sometimes some leanness will come from that, but it will be restored. And even more so when you allow in those energies that need to come into you to propel you forward in your path and in your way of living in this world. The next card is the Dragon's Sword, and this goes right along with asserting your boundary. Dragons, if anything, are not liars. They will always speak the truth, and you want to speak your truth with love. Ask to be given the correct words that need to be said. And sometimes that truth is to you. When you are doing this inner work to uncover more of your light, it can get pretty heavy. It can get pretty difficult. And sometimes we need to hear the truth. I have a lovely friend who is maybe a bit on the spectrum, I would think. She's just very blunt, very loving. But what goes through her mind kind of comes out of her mouth. And one day she said to me, we were talking about something, and as she was leaving, she goes, well, you don't have any boundaries anyway. And I remember going, I have boundaries. I have really good boundaries. And I do. And I did. But what she meant was that mine weren't as black and white as hers. And I do allow people a lot of grace. And it's not generally because I don't feel strong against them. It's that there's not a lot that ruffles me, sort of. There's not a lot that's going to get me into a place of anger, because that's a lot of energy and it has to be worth it for me to expend that energy. So what I took from it was a time to look at my boundaries. And that's often, the universe, God, creator, the big kahuna, has spoken through me at times through my irritation with someone, less than what I felt was, gentle, loving. And they just caught me at a time, said something that irritated me. And I pointedly said to them something, just like she did. I don't know that she was irritated with me, but it really got me into a time of reflection, because I did look at my boundaries again and where they might be weak. I have some pretty strong boundaries with people. And what that has done, honestly, is to pull me away from people a bit in general, to protect my sensitivities. And that's wonderful to a point. But we really want to look at what is true for us in life, speak our truth with great clarity and as much gentleness as we can muster. Sometimes people need to hear the truth with less than gentleness, but do your best to do it in love. And if you spend a few seconds, like 30 every day, shedding pure love and joy on something, whatever that is, you are more filled with love inside. And so your ability to speak with more love is heightened. The next card that came up was Door to Personal Healing and Happiness in reverse. It's like, well, how does that go with speaking our truth? And it's really kind of the same thing. The grouch that enforces their boundary, the person that speaks their truth will sometimes lose things in the process. But again, it's like trying to fit into that mold that doesn't fit us anymore. All things will come back to us. Life isn't just this total bummed out down time. There are episodes of it. We have been in a very rough time as light workers recently because we are being called up. And being called up means we get to shed things that no longer serve us. Things that we thought made us happy, but we realize in retrospect that they really didn't make us happy. The people in our lives that are holding us back. The job as our path is maybe not that pathway. The job can be the pathway. Maybe it is opening up to the things that are holding us back from doing our path within our job. Just be open, willing, and ready to be shown what it is that is there for you to grow with. Always seeking growth, always seeking expansion. Someone asked me yesterday, a lovely young man who I've been working with. In fact, he's the one that took me, well, didn't take me, met me in Guatemala and helped me work out the retreat that was truly life-changing for all of us. By the way, I'm taking another group at the end of January. Don't wait. It's going to fill quickly because it is your pathway to freedom, your pathway to empowerment, your pathway to sovereignty in who you are. And if you are a light worker, if you're a healer, if you've been wanting to expand, this is the place for you because it is a way to expand into way more of your power. But I digress. So, the dragon's sword, speak your truth regardless. Do ask for a way for it to be softened if you know that is necessary for someone to actually hear the truth. And then know that, again, things can seem a little cool after that, a little time where, it's more fall than spring. Things aren't looking real abundant, but it will return. Life, our path, healing is up and down. As a nurse, we always taught our patients, healing starts here and does not go to here in a straight line. It is an up and down. Some days you're going to feel better than others. So just know that. The spiral. This is that revisiting energy, that place we have pretty much all gone to the last few weeks, this old stuff that has shown up for us again to help us in our growth, in our path, in our learning. And know that it is always for our highest and best that we revisit these old ways of thinking about ourselves, old beliefs, old things that have come in, and we can now look at them in our power and know that they are the doorway to greater freedom because we will no longer be attached to them once we look at them and go, oh, okay, well, this needs to be released. Cut the cords to them, ask Archangel Michael in to do that, and know that this is where we are at right now. It has to show up for us to release it, even though the showing up is not always pleasant. The next card that supported it was Action in reverse. This is not the time to take massive action. This is the time to be introspective, go inward, do some healing work. Maybe that's just sitting for 5 minutes in the morning in quiet, focusing on your breath. That's all you need to do. And when your mind wanders, you come back and you focus on the breath. Or maybe it's a time you need to connect and just be quiet in the connection to the Creator and ask, what is it that needs to be healed in me? And then give me the understanding of what that looks like. What does that healing really look like? The how isn't our business, but sometimes we will get a visual aspect of that means walking away from this relationship. That means, but right now is not the time to do that. Now is the time to work on that inner aspect of who you are, the expansion that you need and want to be in the world. We all want to be more powerful in our own life. And that involves expansion. It also involves times of contraction. And that's what the action card in reverse is about. The key holder. This is a powerful little card. This is about gratitude. The key to expanding in your life is by being grateful for what you have, regardless of how meager it may seem at the time. If you're living in your car, be grateful you have a car to live in. That may sound callous, and it's not. It is getting down to the nitty-gritty of the truth of where you are at. I'm so grateful that I have something to protect me from the rain that's coming down. I'm so grateful that I can see that rain, that I can hear that rain, that I have a voice, that I have hands and feet that work. Sometimes life gets really contracted for us, and we have to go to the very, very depths of our soul to be grateful for who we have been, who we are, what we have been given in this life. And it's going to be even more and more important to do that as we walk through these next several months, because the storm warning is the last card. There is going to be some storms, and they may just be very personal storms for you. I suspect they're going to be more worldly storms, more and more things happening, more stuff coming out. November is poised to be a pretty, well, I'm getting the picture, up and down month. Just a lot of stuff that are going to keep us unsettled. Being grateful for where you are, what you have right now is very, very powerful in you staying steady in the storms. This can be a very, very difficult time for many of us. But that's when you go inward to your guides, your angels, your companions, the inner resources. What am I learning here? What do I get to learn? My understanding about why we're here in life, we're here now to usher in this new world. And a lot of times we have to rise up in our vibration. And that means we have to look at the difficult. We have to get rid of the difficult. We have to expand into this next level of being. And, you may have loved ones in your life that are looking to make their transition. Sometimes I feel like they're the lucky ones, because this is a big job that we agreed to do in this lifetime, of helping usher in this new world, of holding the space of love and strength in this time that looks like it's getting scarier and scarier. And again, I advise you to stop listening to any more of the news than you can possibly listen to, because it becomes such a tool of manipulation. That's all it is. If there was the news channel that just went, this happened, this happened, this happened, this happened in the world, without any opinion, then it would be more reliable. But they all are just opinion editorials anymore. Every single station you listen to. And they're going to tell you who is responsible, who you need to hate, and why. And the truth is, everything has two sides. And everything is just like that birth process that I've talked about. The world is in that third stage of birth. And it is the most difficult. It is painful. But we hold our space in love, in light, in peace. Keep shedding that on the things that give you consternation. Get out and with Mother Earth, let her help you ground yourself and take in what she's offering. On a continuous 24/7 basis, she offers us oxygen at the very minimal. And yet it is the very life-giving force we have to have. She offers us so much more than that if you can get out into her. This time of year for me, pretty much, a good weather day is a walk, but it's on my front porch, just getting outside. And I crave that. I have to go out there to just sit for a few minutes, a few times a day, really. So I think we are complete for November 1st. 35 years ago on November 1st, my mother made her transition. 31 years ago on October 31st, my father made his transition, which was also his 71st birthday. And while they're no longer sad events, it is something that I'm always aware of. There was a great dichotomy between those two dates, time-wise, and who they were in my life. My mother at that time, I was not very involved with for lots of reasons. And it gave me an understanding when she passed and my dad called and told me she had gone. They'd never been married that I knew. And I thought it was quite interesting that my father called me to tell me that and not my sister. But what I mourned was my mother's life, because she led a very pretty much unhappy one. And she was a very kind woman. Sick puppy, had lots of things, lots of demons would be a good way to put that. But it also offered me a way to become more of who I am in the world. And so I looked at her like that. And I spoke to her after she passed and, told her, Mom, I mourn your life more than I mourn your death. But I know she's moved on. When my dad died, it was a very different experience. We were very close, sort of. We were close. I honored him. I thought he was an incredible dad. And he and I were a lot of like, which was, we are separate a lot, even in our relationships. Is that a good thing? I don't know. It is who I am. It is who he was. And I understood him a fair amount. And so when he passed, it was a very different experience, a great, great sadness. But, that was many years ago. Don't even know why that came up this morning other than the date. This is the 1st of November, a brand new month. Oh, there is also, through the next 10 days, some very important work you want to do internally. Again, just get quiet and do some breath work, because unless you have a focus, we are moving towards 1111, which is a great portal, a great spiritual portal of opening. And so you want to work your inner spiritual aspect right now very purposefully, because there's so much to be offered in that 1111 portal. And I invite you to schedule a time to just either be with your tribe in engaging in some spiritual activity, or being with yourself in some spiritual activity, allowing awarenesses to come into you, understandings to come into you, and clarity. And I think we could all use some clarity in life right now. Who are we? What are we doing here? Why are we here now? What is our path? What is our job? And I think that is always going to be me. A seeker is always going to be in that state. I know some of what I get to do in this world, but I know that there's more, and I don't know yet what that is. But I do know that things like the retreat in Guatemala are going to be very much a part of what I do ongoing, because they are such a powerful shift and a powerful way of living in the world. Lisa says, I've been looking for my tribe. I invite you, Lisa, to look online if you haven't been able to find them where you live. Here's the truth. Where I live is a very, very different energy than who I am. And I've lived here for 39 years. Love it. Don't want to leave. But finding a tribe here in my little town has been somewhat difficult. I don't know why that is. Honestly, don't really care why it is. It just is. So my tribe is online and is what we call over the hill in Boise, events that I get to participate in. But I will post in the comments an online group that meets in Boise quite often for social stuff called Radical Connections. It is powerful women supporting powerful women in life and in our path. And I invite you, because there's lives there, especially this month. The month is self-love. The theme for this month is self-love. There's going to be a live tonight there talking about, and it's a moderated live. I invite you all to tune in. There is a fee, a monthly fee, a minor monthly fee to support, just because the Circle platform that it's on is a pricey platform, and that helps us pay for that. So, and the other truth is, if you don't invest something in something, you do not get from it what you could get for just a minimal investment. And that's true of anything. Oftentimes, I allow people that I know are in dire financial need, I allow them to pay me what they're able to, because they need the work, and that's okay with me. It is the reciprocation that is necessary. I've done trades, and I'm good with that too. So, it was a very long reading today, very pointed reading. I think we're going to have a lot of pointed readings in November. This is a great month and a lot of energy shifting in this month. So do your inner work, looking for your tribe. Look different places than what you've been looking if you haven't found one. Or maybe try to start your tribe. Let me rephrase that. Maybe start your tribe in your own place of living. Reach out, find out what is available. Reach out, put out one of those weird texts, and do. So I'm going to do a new moon ceremony. Who'd like to join me? You might be surprised, Lisa, at who is close to you that you don't even know is there. So thank you so much for joining me. I'm Victoria Savage, Nurse Savage on your side, your Wisdom Guided Oracle. Also, I forgot to tell you, I will be posting every day this month. When I'm not here, I'm posting an Instagram. And I did put my whatever link in the comments yesterday's reading. No, day, but Mondays. I did a reading on Instagram yesterday. They have some fun filters, so I've been playing with those. Do come and join me there. It will be card readings. They will be similar to this, just not as long. And they may not be card readings at all. It may be just musings and offerings from what I receive from my guides, angels, and companions. Connect to your guides, angels, and companions. Keep yourself in the place of open, willing, and ready to be guided. That's where your power lies. Thanks again. Until we meet again.